Oh, dude, I said LeBron. Holy shit. What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about a proposed overhaul that's supposedly coming to Modern Warfare 2, some surprise changes you may have missed, and even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because we're very close to 100,000 subscribers here on the main channel. Really appreciate it. Also drop a like and turn notifications on to stay up to date with everything going on in Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, Warzone Mobile, and any other future Call of Duty as well. I want to thank all you guys for the immense support on the gameplay stream I did earlier this afternoon, where we gave away 5 full copies of Modern Warfare 2 on different platforms. Had a ton of fun, got crazy clips and kills. I know many of you guys actually sent me some tweets with those clips. Really means a lot. We had a great time. I got more streams for you guys over the next couple of weeks, of course. Definitely stay tuned for that, because we'll be doing more giveaways in the future as well. Infinity Ward put out this tweet saying that they recently released an update that fixed an issue that prevented players from editing their profile showcase. Additionally, they've also fixed various map exploits and bugs across the game itself. They've also linked their brand new Trello board to track their progress on repairing a bunch of bugs and stability in Modern Warfare 2. A couple of days ago, I showed you guys the hilarious mistake that was made with their other Trello board, which is that they had the Trello board publicly accessible to where people out there were putting in some not so nice statements on the board. It's never happened before. I know Treyarch and Sledgehammer have had their own Trello boards in the past where we're able to track what they're working on, but there was a big mistake made with the Modern Warfare 2 one, which was so funny to see, but that has now been resolved. I'm sure more bug fixes and stability issues will be ironed out over the next couple of weeks. But besides that, we also got a UI update into Warzone 1 or MW19, where now Warzone isn't in its own tab like it used to be before. Instead, it has been thrown into the list of modes that you could see in MW19: campaign, multiplayer, and then Spec Ops. I guess that's just meant to fully showcase MW2 at that menu to really get you to play that game. And I'm sure when Warzone 2 ends up coming out, there'll also be an advertisement in the old Warzone or MW19 that shows you where to go to start playing the brand new iteration of the Call of Duty Battle Royale. And it goes along with the other rumors we've seen from verified gaming insiders that on November 16th, when Warzone 2 comes out, Warzone 1's life essentially comes to an end. I mean, you can still play Caldera and use the last 3 years of cosmetics in that experience, but Resurgence altogether is going away. There'll be no Rebirth, there'll be no Fortune's Keep. That'll be the state they leave Warzone 1 in, and then that'll be it. That is a big push, I think, business-wise, to make sure everybody out there does move on to Warzone 2. Al-Mazrah will be the only Warzone 2 map on release, but I'm sure Resurgence will end up coming out at some point in the future of Warzone 2's life cycle, maybe by spring. That's just a guess that I have. But with that, I understand why they're doing this. They really want to make sure everybody out there moves on to the future of COD 2.0. But we then got an article written this morning by the infamous Rouse Valve, an individual who did post some very interesting leaks a good year and a half ago about Modern Warfare 2, Infinity Ward's future. A lot of those leaks did come true, but then as of lately, I want to say the last 6 to 7 months, he started putting out a bunch of information that just wasn't true whatsoever, very specific information that got debunked rather quickly. And when that first started coming out, that a lot of his recent info was false, he ended up leaving Twitter. He left the internet, so to speak. But then 3 weeks later, he came back saying he wanted to continue with posting early information about Call of Duty. And ever since he's returned, many of his claims, if not all of them, just haven't been accurate. I mean, take it from Charlie Intel, who also put out a response to this new article that was written, where he says he's gotten a lot wrong recently. Advanced Warfare 2 in development, a map editor or theater mode in Modern Warfare 2, etc. Those things just aren't correct. And to add to that, something I know that we're allowed to talk about since it isn't real anyway, is that Modern Warfare 2 is not getting a PSVR 2 add-on. I mean, that would be cool, kind of similar to Infinite Warfare's VR experience in 2016, but when I was over at COD Next, it was literally confirmed to us that there isn't a PSVR 2 experience coming. Maybe during year 2 that's something possible, but as of right now, Infinity Ward doesn't even know about what those claims are talking about. They have no idea. I haven't even seen a headset in their office to work on anything for VR in the Call of Duty ecosystem. So not sure where Ralph got that information from, but it's just really far off. So with that out the way, take this article with a grain of salt, but here's what Ralph had to say. A UI/UX overhaul is coming to Modern Warfare 2. Over the last 3 years, seniors, directors, and experienced formers in TV were hired into Infinity Ward's UI/UX department. Despite the expansion of the team and its talents throughout development, it left Call of Duty players lost navigating Modern Warfare 2's obscure UI and UX systems, a muddled mess that goes against the intuitive menu designs established by past Call of Duty titles. UI and UX play an importance in the overall game and execution, as it serves as a great tool for vetting the quality of a product. However, due to some internal disparity between departments, complicating instructions and workflows, and has produced the results many players see now. The issue was pressed internally for discussion, and a few flags were raised prior to the release describing the UI as difficult and invasive to design goals. UI tends to directly impact gameplay, and without emphasis on particular features, it can make or break the experience of the player. With the introduction of Warzone and Call of Duty Mobile, indicated a slight shift towards Activision's desire to renovate Call of Duty's interfaces to a more modern, streamlined display for content discovery and store. So his original claim from many months ago was that Infinity Ward planned to facilitate and entirely rework Call of Duty's UI and UX systems. A major design and rebrand was what they were describing it as. Launching Call of Duty's first subscription scheme, introduced mobile application in concept with content discovery and library store / re-architecture. Now, we haven't really seen much about what the subscription scheme is going to look like, if that's even the case, if that's even legitimate. I mean, that's probably not happening, but hey, maybe we'll get surprised next year in 2023 with something like that. I mean, the whole mobile application part of this and the fact that it was in concept at the time, who knows where that's going, but I'm sure we'll see some major enhancements when Warzone Mobile does come out in the next couple of months. But that could also be referring to the fact that it's almost like the game is designed like a mobile game with that kind of layout. Not sure why they went down that route that many players right now really aren't on board with. Now, it's confirmed in the article, as Ralph claimed before, that they brought in engineers from Hulu and Microsoft to work on the Modern Warfare 2 UI. But as he said, the results primarily boiled down to time, coordination, and working from home. In conversation with an associate, it was mentioned that some revision is coming to the UI and UX for the future of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0. The exact quote is, "It's a work in progress. There's a lot of moving pieces. Updates have been well underway." Seemingly, a more piecemeal approach to refining the UI, UX in stages rather than on launch. Several departments continue to work in collaboration to sharpen the UI and other additional interfaces for Season 1 and beyond. So, we've seen over the last 3 years that the UI for a new Call of Duty like MW19, Cold War, Vanguard might look different at release from what it eventually looks like with the post-launch season. So maybe Modern Warfare 2 will just follow suit with that, where we get the actual true UI that we're going to stick with for a while, starting with Season 1. But right now we kind of have a rough version of that, which is bound to get some changes to really help with how intuitive the main menu actually is. I think we could all agree that it shouldn't take you 5 different screens to get to camo customization or your camo progression. I mean, in recent Call of Duties, yeah, it took you a couple of screens to get through to find maybe what you need, but for the sake of Modern Warfare 2 here, yeah, if you're a content creator, a hardcore player, a sweat, you'll deal with figuring out how to navigate through the new UI. You'll put up with it. But for the casuals that don't play that much, that only have a couple of hours a week to actually play multiplayer, it's probably frustrating for them, to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if some people out there got too overwhelmed trying to figure out the UI and almost stopped playing entirely or played less because of it. Now, I definitely miss the traditional menu we used to have in other Call of Duty titles. I mean, what I do like about the whole COD HQ-like application, that's what they're calling it when you actually boot up Modern Warfare 2, and you can actually see COD HQ mentioned if you're playing the game and you have your Discord linked. It'll refer to it as COD HQ. So what that means going forward is that this is the base headquarters of Call of Duty going forward. So when Warzone 2 comes out, when we eventually get maybe the next Black Ops game or whatever, you'll see access to those games at this COD HQ menu, and you have a seamless transition from one game to the other. It's not to say that they're all interconnected to where if one game is buggy, all of them are, like we were seeing with the previous integrations of Warzone 1, but it just means that because everything's on the same engine and can be visible through the same menu, it does serve as a whole new social space for how you look at Call of Duty content, how you look at the recent games, how you see your friends list across all of those new titles. So I like where that is going, but I just think the interface itself with how you can separate campaign from Spec Ops or your multiplayer modes, it could be a lot better. On top of the way Gunsmith works with weapons, I think there's so much involved with the Gunsmith this year, with attachment tuning, with camo progression, with the weapon receivers, that the UI could definitely use improvement so that it's better understood by the casuals out there who still don't really like the way that things are laid out. And I also think the whole UI overhaul is essentially fixing something that wasn't broken or putting time and resources towards something that didn't really require it. I feel like that was definitely something they didn't have to work on too much. You could have gave us as simple of a menu as MW19 and still call it COD HQ because you have access to Warzone 2 with the same menu, or the next Call of Duty in 2023, 2024. You can still have the whole HQ interface they're going for, but just lay it out in as easy terms as possible so that fans that have been playing COD for years don't feel like they're lost when booting up this game for the first time. Now, what I'll end with is that since Ralph hasn't been reliable as of lately, not only will I take this report with a grain of salt, but I'd also just expect over the next few months for for there not to be a major overhaul, but just additions made to the menu that make things clearer, that make things a little more organized. But expecting a full-fledged redo of the entire HQ application isn't what I'm expecting. So what I'm hoping and what I'm kind of telling you guys about here is that going in with expectations for Season 1, Season 2, that the menu's going to get completely redone might not be the best thing to do. It might just lead to more negativity and complaining from the community. So temper your expectations for sure. Definitely don't put all your eggs in one basket with any leaker out there. Definitely don't come to expect that that's 100% going to happen, because what we've seen in recent years is that leakers claim something, it doesn't happen, or it happens but halfway, and then the community gets upset because whatever the leak said originally didn't end up panning out. But that's not a way to look at things when developers themselves haven't confirmed that such an update is in the works. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the proposed overhaul coming to Modern Warfare 2 at some point in the future? And also, what are your thoughts on the changes that were also made to Warzone 1 in MW19's application? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.